Good evening everyone and welcome to the SRS GT3 series. We are here for Season 2. It is Round 5 of the Championship, halfway through the season now, as we take in the Fuji Speedway. Not the layout that you might be familiar with from last season. We don't do the Grand Prix layout, we are missing out the chicane, as you can see with reds on board. We're missing out that part here tonight. But my name is James, I'm going to be taking you through the stream as per usual, and it's going to be a fantastic night's worth of racing. To get in straight into the championship standings with just a couple of minutes to go until qualifying start. Black on 124 points leading the way, from Palmer in second on 84 and Tyson third on 80. CO in fourth, not racing here tonight, on 71 points. The Splash in fifth on 58, Marcello in sixth on 37. Good to see him back as well here tonight after two consecutive good race performances. Bofa Shadara in seventh on 34. Doug in 8th on 32, Jerez in 9th on 31, Volschweitzer in 10th on 20, Tapp in 11th on 11, and then Barr in 12th on 9. Petrolhead, who's now retired from the session, from the league I should say, this season, he's on 8 points, Red's on 8 points as well, the man you're on board with. Then Superboy and K&K Dot are tied for 15th on 6 points, and Viper in 16th on 4 points. And we're going to be going very, very soon indeed. Apparently Black has been drinking some wine before this, so it's going to be quite interesting to see how he gets on, and if his visibility is going to be fine. His visibility, of course, with his eyes, if that's going to be fine. And yes, we are all ready to go on my end, and we're all ready to go, I'm sure, from the driver's end as well. You can see all of them just putting in their responses to the chat, and hopefully nobody is going to be using that chat feature. We're on board with Reds, as I say, but Marcello, that man there who's in the pit lane, who switched to the Mercedes, same with Tice, he switched back to the Mercedes as well for this round at Fuji. We are going to be going very soon indeed, dead on 7 o'clock. We might even start about a minute early. Bofa Shadara's waiting on his new wheel, and hopefully we're going to be seeing some great racing out on track here tonight. Team standings as well, just to confirm, I think they were posted in the chat if I'm not mistaken. Let me have a quick look and see if they were. So I didn't see them when I originally saved the standings. I'll just get these up now and see if there are any team standings. Yeah, no team standings currently to put in with for this race, certainly, but we'll try and update you with that, of course, next week, as qualifying has now begun. We're just on the 10-second countdown now. Hopefully nobody is going to have a pit glitch or anything like that as we go into this 10-minute qualifying. 60 minutes race, of course. Fuji likes to perform quite a few races out on track. It likes to be a track that really thrives on the action, and hopefully we're going to be seeing that here tonight, as I see all of you tuning in here for the SRS GT3 series. We have got the first cars coming out the track, and that is K&K Dot in the Porsche, who is coming out the track. It's one of the first drivers, but it's that man there, Tice, who always seems to beat everyone out of the pit lane. And we've got a 10-minute qualifying session. Expect lap time to be around the 1:33 mark, 1:32 may be possible with a bit of slipstream as well. It's going to be fascinating to see, but Tice is the first man out on track, and Tice coming into tonight with a good string of results to his name. In third in the championship, he's picked up 2 third-place finishes, both in Sardinia and Monza, the 2 Italian rounds, and also 4th-place finishes in Brands Hatch and Interlagos. So an ever consistent man out on track. He is just revving up the fuel. I can see Volschweitzer trying to go down the inside line there, and he might be the first to try and break off. He's probably wondering, why are these cars there coming past me all of a sudden? Superboy is there. Might be to give Palmer a little bit of a run down the straight. Marcello as well, just in behind. I think those are the orders from the team side max. Volschweitzer coming through turn 10, and I have got a handy track map up for you through Dunlop Corner, that is, of course. There are only 15 turns out on track tonight, as opposed 14 turns I should say, as opposed to the 16 turns like you might see on a traditional track map around here. We are missing out the chicane, and that counts for turns 11 and 12. We're not having those two here tonight. Turn 10 on the road towards turn 11 is where it's going to be, as now Volschweitzer comes out the final corner in the Lexus. 14 drivers, of course, out on the grid. We were expecting a 15-car grid here tonight, but I haven't. Volschweitzer now coming down the line, start the finish line. He crosses that now to start off on his lap, and let's right on board as he runs down towards turn 1 with all the fancy features there on the left-hand side. You can see his throttle input to the left, his brake input to the right, and that'll be lit up, of course, very late on the brakes there. Volkswagen through turn 1, very nice indeed. Lexus is quite a good car around this track. Probably not as quick as what we might see from the Mercedes or from the Dodge. But Volkswagen on a lap here, running down in towards Coca-Cola corner, through turn 3, and then through turn 4. This flat out 180-degree right-hander. You can see there, Mount Fuji just in the background of shot towards the left-hand side as we now pan across. Volkswagen though coming through turn 5. And looking not too bad through the hairpin at turn 6, then through turn 7 to turn 10. That is where the penalty point is going to be here tonight, so make a note of that if you are a driver that might be listening in to this stream. Turn 7 to 10 on the run down toward Dunlop corner, which is this corner coming up. That is where the penalties have got to be served, in amongst that point. Splash is looking quicker than Volkswagen on this lap, but it's not too bad as he now comes through the final sector, through turn 13, then through turn 14, out on track, trying to take as thin a line as possible, runs out wide, try and get the camber in, coming through next corner at turn 13, and now up the hill in towards Panasonic corner. Of course, Panasonic used to sponsor the Toyota team in Formula 1. Now, of course, that was no longer defunct after 2009, the finance losses and everything like that. Volkswagen is on a good lap here, but Splash, I think, is going to be quicker than him behind, maybe by about 8, 9 tenths of a second, I would say. So Splash is going to come across the line, probably ahead of Volkswagen here. Volkswagen across the line, 34.8. It's actually only at 34.6, but there is the man there, Palmer, who goes quickest, and he's gone quickest by 3 tenths of a second currently. There's CSR C5 Black. That is teammates, of course, here tonight, CO. As he now comes down, KK Dots had an absolute horrible lap, 41.7. Tyson Superboy also back into the pit lane, tap there with a 36.2. Black, though, coming toward the line. Is he going to be quicker than Palmer? I don't think he might be. Coming across the line, he's not, and he's 2.5 tenths off, so that is already advantage Palmer out on track. And there was the man there who was looking to try and get back into the championship fight after a really good win last time out, of course, in Interlagos. If you didn't tune in last week, it was Palmer who won, Balak in second, and CO absent tonight in third. Tice there looking to pick up a podium. Splash as well has been quite consistent so far this season. Maybe watch out for him as we go through the session. But Palmer, as you can see, currently out on top, nearly halfway through qualifying already. It's Palmer out on top from Black there in second. Marcello in third, he's got 1.4 second penalty, which of course he has got to serve up between turn 7 and 10. And he actually serves it up now to the right-hand side, loses control of the car, and gets out of the way of the likes of Doug. And because he's doing that, he is serving up his penalty as a result, and now he floors it down. Viper there in fourth. Good to see Viper back for the first time this season, if I'm not mistaken. So Viper in, debuted, of course, in Brands Hatch last time, for round 1 of the championship, and he has had 3 DNSs to his name. KK Dot the same, 3 DNSs to his name, he is back tonight. And Superboy, a DNF and a DNS for his name, he is back tonight as well, after disconnect last time out. Doug there across the line, 34.5. Splash, 34.4, and he's a second off Palmer's time. That, though, is a good lap there by KK Dot, who goes up into 4th position. And he is running the Gulf liveried car, the Porsche, of course. And it's a lovely looking car, I've got to be honest. Running car number 4, of course, and appropriately he's in 4th, and he's car number 4, and honestly all the 4s so far from KK Dots. He now comes down in towards turn 3 and then through turn 4 out on track. There we go, beautifully fed in there. Splash is on the lap, he's right in behind Volkswagen, I think. Let's see what the Team Lithuanian driver can do. Splash running down behind Volkswagen, trying to break out that dirty air, but I don't think Volkswagen realises that Splash behind him is actually on a lap. They're probably both on the lap. It's just a case of pace and dirty air that I think Splash is not going to improve on this lap, unless he gets a phenomenal slipstream running down the straight. Black is back into the pit lane as well. 3 minutes and 45 seconds on the clock. You'll see that to the right-hand side of your screen. And it is Palmer out on top from Black in second, Marcello third, KK Dot fourth, Viper rounding off your top 5 at this stage. Of course, if you do have any feelings or comments, you can let us know, of course, on the chat. And I will have a look at that during the course of this race. Probably not immediately, but we'll have a look. Certainly probably about 15 minutes into the race. That mark there, I will have a look and see what you guys are commenting in the comments section if you do want to get involved. It's like a telephone ringing there in my ear. Splash came into the pit lane, Doug as well into the pits, and see if there's anybody that has just started up on a lap. Appropriately, Palmer has just started up on a lap now. He's got Paul Fischer-Dara about 2 or 3 seconds ahead of him. Superboy goes into 35 flat, a good lap time from him. 3 minutes left. Doug has to get out of the way of Palmer here. So he now comes through turn 1 at Daichi corner. And through turn 2, and on the run up towards Coca-Cola corner at turn 3. And probably Doug is going to give him a little bit of toll. Remember Doug in Sardinia, him and Palmer made contact consecutively on the first 2 laps of the race. Doug retired from that race. Palmer went on to finish, I think, in P4, if I'm not mistaken. Just looking through his record. Yeah, he finished P4 in Sardinia. Wasn't the greatest result from him, but he'd be hoping to try and get a little bit of a toll. Doug might work together with him to try and get this a little bit of a toll. We've got Marcello as well in behind him out on track. See what Palmer's doing though, through the middle sector, through 100R there. Now through Dunlop Curve. Beautifully done through there. Now on the run up towards turn 12. Remember, there's only 14 turns now out on the track. Palmer runs wide there, getting flung off by the dirty air. Don't be surprised, by the way, if you do see drivers slipstream and try and improve their times. The slipstream around here is really potent, I can tell you that. Marcello looks like he's on a green middle sector there. I just saw that flick. But Doug out of the final corner has a bit of a spin. Palmer will try and run in the slipstream if he can. Marcello will ride on board with though as well. Palmer then to the line, right in behind Doug. Is he going to improve on his time? No, 600ths down off his time. Marcello does improve though, 33.3. Nice lap there from him. So that's 33.1, I should say, in practice. Black though, green in both sectors so far. As he now comes through turn 11. Tice with a 33.6 goes in behind him out on track, but Black on a really good lap. Is he going to be improving enough to defeat Palmer, currently in qualifying? He will only have one more crack at the cherry as well, as will the guys who are coming through the lap. So Black is the last man, really, out on track that can actually go on for a final lap for Team Simpac Racing, and be hoping that his teammates he can try and score a full amount of points. Sidemax probably going to be in a better scenario, I think, as now Black comes towards the line. Is he going to go quicker than Palmer? Yes, he does. 33.2, and now that will now spark a response out of Palmer, who is not on a lap. Palmer not on a lap at all. Marcello, I think, has been freed up to try and go for a lap, but he's just run wide through there. KK Dot on a lap. Viper is one of the first to set across the line. He's on an out lap. I don't think he's going to get round in time, if I'm not mistaken. 25 seconds is going to be pretty tight for the Viper man to get round, probably in the Viper. So now comes through the American through the final corner. 15 seconds to the line. It's going to be really close, I think. If he can pick up the speed to the line, I think he might just be fine. Looking at it, it's going to be a case of about 2 seconds, I think he's going to come across the line at. Yeah, Viper will make it. Across the line he comes, and he has made it onto another lap. Palmer, though, not responding and will not improve, because that is him done now out on track. Marcello. KK Dog goes fourth with a nice lap. Superboy is well improving. Tice, is he coming across the line? Does he improve? No, he's a 10th off. Viper on a lap. Splash is on a lap as well. Reds is done. Doug is done as well. Both Shadara back into the pit lane. Superboy is done. Jerez is done. Vol Schweitzer is out there on the lap, and Tap is done as well. So we're running on board as Black is improving through the middle sector. Now through the final corner. Can Black try and improve? It's been a very consistent lap from him so far. 33.2 from the Viper out on track. Let's see what he can do now as he runs towards the line here at Fuji. It's a very long straight as well. Makes up about 1.5 kilometers of the track. Across the line he comes. 33.1. And Black has secured pole position. Surely now out on track. Will flick on board with Viper, Splash, Volschweitzer as well. I don't think Splash is on a good lap here, if I'm not mistaken. Volschweitzer might be trying to improve. Viper might be trying to improve as well in behind. But Splash now coming through the final couple of corners, through Panasonic corner for the final time in qualifying. And he's run wide, coming out the final corner, tries to prioritise the exit. That is miles out wide though from Splash. And he realises it, and he's backed out of the session. Or backed out of his lap, I should say. Volschweitzer and Viper, let's see if anybody is going to try and improve here. Volschweitzer is going to improve. It's going to be a good lap from Volschweitzer across the line. Yeah, 34.6, and Viper with a 33.5, I should say. He goes 5th. Nice lap there, but Black out on top, Palmer 2nd, Marcello 3rd at the end of qualifying. About 0.3 per second, I think, separating out the top 5. So we are, of course, here at the Fuji International Speedway. It is the short version of this circuit. We are about to get underway for 60 minutes worth of racing. Black out on top from Palmer 2nd, Marcello 3rd, Kenke Dot 4th, Viper in 5th. The cleaner side of the grid will probably be to the right-hand side, so watch out for Palmer. Will he get a good start? Will Black get a good start? The light sequence is about to come on here as the 5 red lights are about to go out for round 5 of the championship in the SRS GT3 series. And it's lights out and away we go. I will immediately back out though so I can get on board with the start as they come through. Tyson's got a good start. Black, though, has got the lead. Running down in towards turn 1 for the first time. Running into the Daichi corner. Viper has got a good start as well. In the Viper, he's already up past Tice. So good start from him. Everyone clean through turn 1. A little bit of contact there in the background. Both for Shadora, I think, getting caught up in a slight incident. Maybe there with Tap. Volschweizer's through safely. They're coming through. Black leads the way. Marcello second. Viper third. Palmer's all the way down to 4th. Palmer has not had a great start at all, and it's Marcello who has capitalised, as well as Viper as they come through 100R for the first time with Mount Fuji there in the background. Palmer to the inside line of Viper. Oh, trying to lunge it down the inside. Palmer looking racy, but he's got Tice right on the back of him. Tice right on the back as KK Dot runs out wide. Superboy is trying to look for a position as well on Reds. These two from Goro, of course, back in the day, trying to have a fight as they come down towards the right-hander for the first time. Doug down the inside as well of KK Dot. Force each other a little bit wide, but Doug has got the move done, surely. Down the inside, Splash is trying to fight the position as well. Doug is through, though, on KK Dot. Great move there by the Mercedes man. Out on track, he might be feeling them well, but certainly not like that out on track. Car number 13 through on KK Dot, and he's through, and he's up into 6th. Gets a little bit sideways, but he's already on to the leading group as Viper. He's already got a 5/10th penalty. Now runs that down to 4/10th penalty. Palmer right in behind. Will take an onboard shot with Palmer as he now runs down the straight. He looks like he might have the legs down the straight, but that Viper is quick. Down in the straight line. Essentially, you've got to give each other a little bit of a toe. But now Palmer pulls out to the right-hand side. Viper, though, I think is just going to have the legs on this one. Look at Tice getting the run. Could be 3 wide down in towards turn 1. Tice has committed that move on Viper. Makes a little bit of contact. Palmer now forces his way through on the inside. And Tice is through and he's up into 3rd. Viper will not like that one as he's making contact there with Palmer on the exit. Coming through in towards Coca-Cola corner. So it's Black who leads the way. He's got Marcello right on the back of him. 2.5 of a second as they come through the right-hander in towards the hairpin for the second time. Black, Marcello dives it down the inside. Oh, that's a reckless dive, but I've got to be honest from Marcello. Black might feel the need to try and fight that back, this position. But there is almost absolutely no limits as to what we're seeing so far out on track as Marcello leads from Black in 2nd. Viper is just in behind Palmer and Tice, and here comes Black trying to fight it around the outside of turn 11. Can he get the move done? No, he can't. And through turn 12, 13, switches to the inside line. Can Black get the move done for the lead of the race? It's a really good battle between these two. Maybe just a little bit of contact on the exit of turn 13. Now up towards Panasonic corner for the second time. Black, Marcello just about hangs on, but it gives Tice now a run. Viper as well, having a little bit of a serve up of his penalty. Palmer right on the back as well, and here comes the Slipstream Fest running down in toward Daichi corner once again at turn 1, but Marcello leads the way crossing the line, but look at the speed of that Viper. Look at Black now around the outside line. He'll try and switch it to the inside, I think, to try and force Marcello out, and that's exactly what he's done, and that is a brilliant piece of driving there. Palmer, can he get the car stopped? Viper trying to get the car stopped as well, down in towards turn 1, and he forces Palmer out wide, and they're now side by side, running down in towards turn 3 once again, and Palmer, I think, is just going to have the legs on this one to try and get the inside line. Viper is not fighting that up, he's not giving it up without a fight, but Palmer hangs on for now. Viper trying to go around the outside of turn 5. Not quite close enough. Marcello right on the back of Black. Doesn't want to go for the same move like he did last lap around. And look what's happening in behind as well. Doug, KK Dot, Splash, Hair Razor, Reds. This is the closest beginning to a race I think we've had all season. 4.6 seconds separating the top 11 out on track. Volschweitzer, Bow and Tap off the pace slightly, but Black leads through Dunlop corner for the 3rd time. Cello 2nd, Tyson 3rd, Palmer in 4th, everyone running in line astern as they run up the hill in towards turn 11. Viper right on the back, still got that penalty to serve up. Look at Splash now down the inside of KK Dot trying to go for the move, not quite close enough. Reds, Hair Razor just trying to latch onto the back of these guys. They're losing time actually. Reds might need to feel through as that KK Dot diving down the inside of Doug. Doug bullied out of the position there. KK Dot through. And he's up into 6th, but that pace of that Mercedes is going to be quicker than the Porsche in front. And look at Splash as well. Splash trying to pull out. Doug serves up the penalty. Running behind, that is the wrong penalty area that he is serving it up, and of course it is turn 7 where he's serving that up, and Doug serving up the penalty down the straight. 3 wide in the background though. Hair Raiser, Reds, and Superboy. This is for 9th, 10th, and 11th. So much going on, I can't keep up. I need a second commentator here tonight, honestly. Hair Raiser trying to go around the outside of Reds. A little bit of lag there from the American, but Hair Raiser trying to go all the way around the outside of Coca-Cola corner. Tries to stick the ear in, but no, Reds hangs on to the position. Good piece of driving that by Reds. He's clearing it up into 9th. Remember, the penalty point out on track, even though it's quite easy to serve up the penalties around here, is between turn 7, where we've just came through with the hairpin, and then down the hill and towards turn 10 through Dunlop corner. That is the point where you are supposed to serve up the penalties, and that is exactly what Palmer's doing, and that's exactly what Tice is doing. Viper seems really unsure, and a little bit of ghosting contact there, I think, between them both, as Viper tries to get onto the back of Palmer. Palmer now up to 3rd. He somehow hang on to that position. Marcello trying to get onto the back of Black as well. 0.5 of a second as we now come through Panasonic corner for the 4th time. Turn 14, of course. Normally 16 turns, reduced to 14 because we're running the short layout. And because I had a feeling on the calendar that this would be a good race, I decided to put the short calendar in, the short track in, instead of the long one. And now Black leads the way down the straight. Personal best improvement there for Marcello in 2nd. But look, he's hardly closing up down the straight. That Viper is so quick. Palmer now under pressure from Viper, and now Viper has got through in the Viper, and he's up into 3rd. Splash trying to make a move on KK Dot as well, gets the move done, and he's up into 6th position. Hard but fair racing, I think. A Superboy goes down the inside line of Hair Raiser. Reds has lost 2 positions, I think, as a result. So Superboy now is up to 9th, Hair Raiser up to 10th. Aston and Mercedes making their way through the field. Well, getting quite evenly spaced out though. Quite a few battles going on out on track. Black leading the way from Marcello in 2nd. And there, look at Palmer trying to get the switch back now on Viper. And Marcello trying to keep a tab on Black just ahead of him as well. We see that in the foreground of shot there in towards turn 10 already. We're running on board with Palmer down in towards turn 10, and he's into the... Oh, I thought he was nearly going to go into the back of Viper there. Goodness me, Viper runs wide. This is Palmer's opportunity, but he doesn't decide to go for the move. The more that Palmer gets held up, the more it will favour Black and Marcello. Marcello looks really on the pace here tonight in the Mercedes. He might be running a little bit of clear air. Now Black clearing away from him, 1.1 seconds. Marcello is running in a little bit of clear air. He's going to be in a bit of no man's land as well as Tice down the inside of Palmer. Takes 4th from him, and now we see the little bit of what would be a DRS train running down the straight, of course, if this was Formula 1. But now, let the overtaking fest begins. Further battles going on further down the field. Superboy, I think, still involved with that battle further down. But here is Palmer, right on the back. Splash right on the back. We'll take this from Splash's point of view, running down in towards turn 1. Viper moves across. Viper gives him enough room. Tice makes contact with him, but Viper hangs on to the position. Good, just side-by-side racing there between Viper and Tice. And Viper, I think, has still got a penalty, which is unseeable to the eye. But Viper through and he's up into 3rd still. Looking further down the field, Superboy now beginning to clear away from Hair Race. I think it was him and Reds that were going side by side as they exited the final corner. Volschweiter looking quite pacey as well in this Lexus. He's trying to latch onto the back for 9th position. Of course, Superboy just ahead of him, Hair Raiser and Reds. Further up the field though, as Hair Raiser trying now under pressure from Reds. Reds draws alongside. The BMW, I think, might just have the legs, but the Mercedes is quicker in a straight line and running down the hill. With the camera of the corner favouring Hair Raiser, I think Hair Raiser is going to have this one. Down the inside, he goes into Dunlop corner, he gets the move done. So, good fighting between them both. Still not over and done with though. Hair Raiser 10th, Reds 11th. Back to this big train that is developing out on track, and Viper is the one at the lead of this train as Tice there dives it down the inside. Viper forced out wide. Tice might just get the move done. Switches outside now. Viper moves across there on Tice. Warns him he's there. And look at Palmer getting the run as well. We could have 3 wide running down the straight. Look at this. Viper, Tice, Palmer. Viper moves across to defend off Palmer. And now Palmer has got to go down the pit wall pretty much to try and get the move done. Viper gives him room. And now Palmer trying to switch it down the inside line, down in towards turn 1. Can he get the move done? Still 3 wide, pretty much running down in towards turn 1, but Palmer's through. Palmer is through and he's up into 3rd. Really good fighting between them all. Viper giving a lot of room, I think, to try and get the move done. And now Tice in towards Coca-Cola corner, tries to get him, but Viper's back through and he's up into 4th. Look at Splash, look at KK Dot, look at Doug as well. Now latching onto the back, and Splash tries to go up the inside. We ride a bubble with his bumper cam as he comes through the right-hander. Already 10 minutes through and a lot of action happening out on track as that is Tice diving down now down the inside of Viper. The commentator will eventually get his words out. Splash on the outside line. Viper ran out massively wide there. Car 49 against Splash running down the hill. This is really good racing so far though. Viper now down the inside line of Tice. They make contact. Viper trying to go for a move that really wasn't his, and now splashes through and he's up into 5th. And that was inevitable, I think. The racing just got a little bit too much, I think, from my perspective. Palmer has escaped up the road by 1.5 seconds. Tice there in 4th, Splash in 5th, KK Dot in 6th. Doug is trying to go around the outside of KK Dot, who I think was caught up in a little bit of a melee there in the after that collision. Viper there in 8th as well. Really good racing, but Viper trying to go for a move that really wasn't his to fight, and Tice was always going to move on the natural racing line across him. That might get investigated though by the stewards. Personally, I would say that's a racing incident. As now Splash comes out now on Tice. And running down the straight, the Porsche in behind of KK Dot's not really going to close up, and I think this is Splash position down in towards turn 1. The Lithuanian against the Dutchman, and now running down in towards turn 1. Splash has done that. Doug trying to make it 3 wide. How has Doug done that? How has Doug got that move done? Absolutely unbelievable. Down the inside line in towards turn 1 through Daichi corner, and Doug is through and he's up into 5th. 2 for 1. That is an absolute unreal overtake. There might have been a bit of contact in that, albeit, but Doug down the inside. KK Dot now on the inside line of Doug, and Doug runs wide. KK Dot now trying to go around the outside, and he has. KK Dot through the Porsche man right on the back of him, and he gets the move done. And now Tice and Viper come back into play here in the SRS GT3 series, and goodness me, I'm going to need a new voice, I think, after this. Doug tries to go around the outside of KK Dot. Tice trying to stick his nose in there. Viper still in behind as well. But really good. Yeah, T5 is out in front as per usual. I've got to agree, he's just dominating, I think, out in front. But the main battles are happening further down the field. It was the case where Black was leading a little bit of a train. Marcello was 2nd at that time, and Palmer was 3rd, but now because they're battling further down the field, they're beginning to space themselves out in front. So we'll try and focus on that and try and update you with that, as we are nearly 15 minutes through the racing so far. And who didn't say that this short track would promote a lot of overtaking? It's now Doug in the slipstream. This should be a very easy move, I think, for Doug onto the inside on. That car will be fully ahead down in towards turn 1, and he has got the move done. Tice is trying to look in there as well. Splash though, running very consistently. Doug runs out wide. Could now bring through KK Dot and Tice. Tice on the inside line. Comes across. I think Doug will have to back out of this one, I think. Yeah, Tice is through and he's up into 6th. So good move there. KK Dot through, Tice through, both on Doug. And they're both through and they're up into P5 and 6 respectively out on track. And there's still 10 seconds covering the top 7 out on track, which by our standards in SRS isn't too bad. They've got Superboy as well catching in behind. The field relatively spaced out in behind as well, but Superboy looks like he's beginning to try and get onto the back of these guys. It's 3 seconds the gap, so monitor that as you will to the left hand side. Doug will try and go for the moves. He will be off put, I think, by trying to go for the moves, and you'll see Superboy just begin to break into that margin of about 3 seconds out on track. Don't be surprised if he's on top of these guys if these guys continue to fight out on track. But there is your leader. So we are nearly 15 minutes the way through here, 10 laps completed basically, and Black leads the way by 1.8 seconds. Just look at the speed that the Viper has got down the straight. Once the Viper is gone, it really has well and truly gone. Superboy having a bit of a moment at the final corner there. Goodness me, he held on to that. Reds as well having a bit of a moment at the final corner as well. Not sure if it was both of them, but Reds looks like he's coming into the pit lane. Yeah, Reds into the pit lane, and Crasher's coming into the pit lane as well. Look, he's got no damage, but he'll try and undercut maybe on the likes of Hair Razor, Bullschweitzer, Superboy as well. Viper, by the way, has already been into the pit lane. Viper's had a spin. Viper is out of spin, out on track. Clearly something has happened. He might be retiring from the race. I'm not sure. Reds is out of the pit lane just ahead of Tap, I believe. Yep, Reds is out of the pit lane ahead of Tap. So unfortunate, I think, for Viper. The car has pretty much stopped, and yeah, he's left the session. Not really my place to comment, to be honest. I prefer to see all drivers try and finish the race. I mean, 15 minutes into the race, at least give it a bit more effort next time. Marcello right on the back of Black in second. And 2.1 seconds, the gap. Black really beginning to pull away. Marcello second, Palmer third. Splash is still not fallen off the attention to the likes of KK Dot and Tice and Doug and behind. And these guys have just fallen over each other, about a second and a half, I would say, separating 4th to 7th. And this will be the battle to ride on board with, I think, as we go through the race. KK Dot 5th, Tice 6th, Doug in 7th. We'll try and see if Viper has commented in the Discord about his retirement from the race. There's nothing yet, but I'll try and keep you up to date on that. As pretty much everyone now starts to come into pit lane. Marcello, Splash, everyone in. Marcello is one of the first in, of course. And now he comes into the pit lane. Now he comes out of the pits. Inkly rare, 72 litres of fuel in that car. And comes across the pit lane exit, which is not great, I've got to be honest. And that has been caught on stream as well. So that might be a little bit of a penalty for not sticking to the standards there. And there's a whole host of racing going out of the pit lane here. Tice has got Splash out of the pit lane. So he's overcutted and got the move done. So Tice is throwing it up into 5th, Splash in 6th, Doug 7th, pretty much as we were. KK Dot's been the main loser, but it's only because he's put in more fuel than the rest of the guys out on track. And Viper apparently apologising for his BS, as he puts it, in the Discord. And hopefully we'll come into the better race. KK Dot really getting a slide on there. Love it. Coming through turn 6 at the hairpin. That was really nice from KK Dot. But 43 minutes remaining. Pretty much 17 minutes gone. I think we'll see Black come into the pit lane maybe this time around. Got a 16-second margin over Marcello. And he's not going to come into the pit lane this lap around. He's quite confident and quite cool to try and go on. But the more he goes on, the more he'll start to get closed down possibly by the guys in behind. So it's going to be fascinating to see how this really unfolds out on track. It is Black who leads the way down in towards turn 1. 15.9 seconds. Marcello just eating an advantage. Palmer will certainly be on Marcello's tail as well. Tice is in behind, and look at this. Coming now down towards turn 1, 3 wide, running down the straight. If I got a better camera angle, I'll be able to show you. 3 wide down the straight. Hair Razor, Tice, Splash. Doug is coming in there as well. It could be 4 wide down the straight. We'll take this from Doug's perspective. Down in towards turn 1. Everyone pretty much adjacent. Late on the brakes, and Splash is the one that gets the move done. Hair Razor is the one that's hung out to dry. Doug and Hair Razor make a little bit of contact, and Doug is throwing it up into P6. Hair Razor now under pressure, and Hair Razor still yet to come into the pit lane. Remember, KK Dot is on the inside line. Hair Razor on the inside line. KK Dot go through. Hair Razor tried to go for the move, didn't really pull off, and KK Dot throwing it up into 7th. My goodness me, Splash, Tice, Doug falling over each other. KK Dot is on the back of these guys, and look at that button there, just in behind. Still yet to come into the pit lane though. Volschweitzer could be coming into contention, as well as Reds. Watch out for Reds later on in this race. But Black leads the way out on track, running down in towards the Dunlop curve once again through turn 10. Doug right on the back, looking quicker than these guys ahead. Oh, and he nearly goes into the back of Tice. Oh, very close indeed. Looks like Black is staying out on track once again. Palmer and Marcello look like they're going to work together though. Looking at the menu map, it's probably about 7/10 of a second, that gap. A Splash, Tice, Doug fly through the final corner. And out onto the start-finish straight once again. We'll take this from KK Dot's perspective this time. Because now we'll try and close. But that Porsche's quite slow. It's only going to keep up relatively in the second half of the straight. As Doug, Tice now pulls out on Splash. Oh, gives him a little bit of a tap actually to get a move done. But now Doug, because of that, is down the inside line. That is very late on the brakes from Doug, trying to pull off a move similar to what we saw earlier on, and he does. Doug is through down the inside line. That Tice tap really didn't work out because he's lost 2 positions. KK is now through and he's up into P6. That is why you shouldn't give other drivers that might not necessarily be on your team a bit of a hurry up, because you've just lost 2 positions as a result. And I'm sure that'll be Tice's lesson learned throughout this race. Mount Fuji, of course, in the background here in Japan. Tice down the inside line of KK Dot. Car 78 against car 4. And the Porsche trying to go around the outside line. It is the Porsche that is going to have the favourable line, and he has got the move done. So KK Dot back through and he's up into 6th. Tice back down into 7th. Volkswagen and the likes pitted in, by the way. And there's a good battle going on actually between Hairraiser, Superboy and Volkswagen. Superboy, sorry, that is Hairraiser, I should say. Hairraiser, Volkswagen and both are Shadara, sorry. My mistake. 20 minutes through, Superboy there in 9th position, Hairraiser 10th, Volkswagen 11th, Bo, I should say, in 12th. We'll try and flick on board if we can with both battles. We'll go to the main battle as Doug's down the inside line as Splash gets the move done. Down the inside line into the final corner, but now Doug tries to break the toe. It's going to be like a slithering snake running down the straight here at Fuji. Splash to the inside line. Thought he was going to try and juke him into the pit lane, but now Splash to the outside line. He's going to have to give enough room for K&K Dot to come through possibly, and for Tice to come through. We'll watch this from Tice's perspective. Down in towards someone. K&K Dot is very late on the brakes, trying to get the move done for 2 of them, and he does. K&K Dot repeats a Doug move from a few laps ago. Slight bit of contact with Doug and Splash coming out the corner. That gives Tice now a chance to run down in towards Coca-Cola corner for 6th. But K&K Dot, great move down the inside. He is through and he's up into P4. Everyone's just falling over each other, but it makes for great racing out on track. And this battle, probably one of the best battles I think we've had all season so far. Doug to the inside line, he switches back out to try and get the switch back through. Splash much quicker in the exit of the corner. K&K Dot 4th. Marcello, Palmer trying to catch up. 14.6 seconds out on track for Black. And I don't think that is going to be quite enough for him to carry on into the lead of the race. It looks like this time around, though, he is going to stay out. So the more time he loses, the more time he gains staying out, essentially, is the more time he will not have to pit towards the end of the race. Palmer is really on the back now of Marcello, running down the straight. These guys, I think, will have a good battle running down the straight. And it will be the case, I think, of Palmer going up the rear end of Marcello, trying to give him the hurry up, trying to catch up down the straight. But this battle is not about rear-ending the car ahead. It's all about the clean and friendly racing that we promote here, of course, in SRS GT3 series. It's K&K Dot, Doug, Splash, and Tice is just off the pace, sliding in. K&K Dot's going to be swarmed like a swarmy thing down in towards turn 1. Couldn't find a better analogy than that, I'm afraid. But Doug is through and he's up into P4. K&K Dot through into P5, but for how long? Because here comes Splash right in the back now of Doug. He's going to have the car nearly fully ahead, running down in towards turn 3. Round the outside for the first time tonight. We could see him moving around the outside, and we do. Splashes through. Great move. Round the outside through Coca-Cola corner at turn 3. K&K Dot will get the switch back. Hands Splash now out to dry. K&K Dot doing a little bit of lawn mowing there. Picks up a 5-10 penalty. We'll have to serve that up at this point on the track. And Tice is back on this as well. Really insane battle going on between these guys out on track. Tice right on the back of K&K Dot, Splash and Doug fighting out for P4. K&K Dot serves it up in the correct area, and I think because he's just done that, I'm afraid to say, I think he might have just picked up another 5-10 penalty because of a little corner cut there. Might be the ghosting system that might have just worked in his favour there, as opposed to working against, as that is Black into the pit lane from the lead of the race. Marcello 13.8 seconds behind. I think Marcello and Palmer are going to be out in the lead of this race because Black is into the pit lane, Marcello is there, Palmer is there. I think they've got him. If Black doesn't come out of the pit lane now, they've got him. And he has. They both have. The Mercedes lead. Marcello, Palmer lead the race, and there is Black coming out the pit lane in clear air, albeit, but he's lost 5 seconds to Marcello and Palmer. And that's because he stayed out that little bit longer out on track. Now, I think the deciding strategy is this second pit stop that he's going to make out on track is going to be the winning pit stop, I think, for Black. Because what he has done, he's now on better fuel, better tyres than Palmer and Marcello ahead. And what Black will do, essentially, just close up. As his will, he will close up and really find the performance out of that Viper. back for P4. There's been a little bit of contact, I think, further down the field. Splash and KK Dot now have lost touch on the back of Doug, and it's Tice now that is through. And he's up into P5, so I'm not sure what's been going on since we ran on board with Black's pit stop there. Tice right on the back of Doug. Yeah, I'm trying to focus on as much attention. I'm sure you can appreciate that I'm trying to give as much action as possible out on track. We're trying to focus on the fourth, and we're trying to focus on as well the battle for the lead now. Marcello, Palmer, Black. I'm only a one-man machine. I can only do one thing at a time, so I'm going to try and focus as much as possible on the action that I can see, certainly on the mini-map and on track, as now Palmer gives the hurry up once again to Marcello. They try and break away from Black. But Doug under pressure now from Tice. 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th in the melting pot. These guys will make a pit stop very early, I think. They'll make a pit stop within the next 2 or 3, maybe even 4 laps. As now Tice to the outside line. Doug gives him plenty of room though. Tice is ahead, going into the corner. Doug much later on the brakes though, down the inside again. He'll try to switch back Tice through turn 1, but Doug's through. He's up into P4. That run, that switch back through turn 1 is not as powerful as what people might think. Doug through and he's up into P4. Use the camera corner to great effect. Time to perfection. He's through and he's up into 4th. Tyson 5th, K&K Dot 6th, Splash in 7th. He has got a penalty of 4 tenths. Red's there in 8th, Superboy in 9th. Herres then Bull for Stava and Bullschweitzer still having this battle for 10th. So it's now Herres up to 10th. Both for Shadara 11th, Bullschweitzer in 10th. I think we're still in the same positions as we once were when we last checked. And Tap, they're going round in P13. Find on both though, Marcello, Palmer. Leading the way, and now Palmer. Let's go to the inside line, not quite. Black though, 4.6 seconds in behind. That Viper is closing in big time on these guys. And as I say, the more time he gains for this stage in the race, the more time he will not lose towards the end of the race. Doug fights the back end, coming through Panasonic corner at turn 14. Tice in 5th, K&K Dot in 6th, and we'll take this from Tice's perspective now, running down the straight. K&K Dot might just not have enough legs to try and get onto the back of these two. Tice pulls out, running down the straight. Look at that lovely camera shot, running down the straight. Tice is alongside. Can he get the move done though? It's going to be quite tight down in towards turn 1. I think Tice might just hang Doug out to dry. K&K Dot was very late on the brakes, trying to get the move done on at least one of them. And he could be through on Doug, and he is. K&K Dot, from an absolute mile back, gets the move done, and he's up into 5th position. Absolutely brilliant on the brakes. That Porsche is very quick around here. Might not be the greatest off the line or anything like that, but the Porsche for K&K Dot certainly coming alive. He's through and he's up into 5th. And here's Marcello, who still leads. Palmer really putting pressure on Marcello in front. And also with that battle for 10th, we've got Bullschweitzer now through and he's up into 10th. Herres has lost 2 positions. But for Stara now 11th. Herres maybe losing out with the tyres possibly. Bullschweitzer 10th. Both for Stara there in 11th. Continuing right on board with this battle for the lead. It's not really a battle, I would call it, to be honest. It is rather more Palmer trying to give Marcello the hurry up and vice versa, to be honest. Because if Palmer led, Marcello would do the same. These guys have got to be looking at their fuel though. That is not going to be enough, I think. For another 3 laps out on track as now. Palmer, you can see him just giving the tap up the backside. K&K Dot though is on the back of Tyson. Doug has dropped off now, 1.2 seconds up behind. Here comes the Porsche on the back of the Mercedes. We'll take this from this camera angle. You can see there in that faint dot in the middle of your screen at the top. That is Doug under pressure from Splash. Running down in towards turn 1. K&K Dot's very late on the brakes. Can he get the car stopped? You bet he can. Oh, he parks it to perfection. Through turn 1 he goes, fights the car, but he's through and he's up into P4, is he? Got Tice now on the outside line, running down in towards Coca-Cola corner once again. K&K Dot through and he's up into 4th. Tice down into 5th. Doug and Splash 6th and 7th still. Splash has got a 7/10 penalty to try and use up. Try and make that go out on track. We'll focus again. Palmer looks to the outside line of Marcello. He'll just sit him behind. I think inevitably Black through the corners is just too quick. It's as simple as that. 3.7 seconds now. The gap was 4.7 2 laps ago. So you can tell it's really coming down out on track as we approach the halfway stage here in the SRS GT3 series. Marcello leading the way, 33.4 last time out from the Italian. Palmer in second, 33.4. Black in third, 33.1. There's the big difference. Black closing in. Marcello leading, Palmer second. Kenke Dot still trying to pin up the attention. The tyre was very wide coming out of turn 13 and out through 14. Through the final corner, Douglas spun. Through the final corner, loses the rear end. That's a weird place to spin as well. He rejoins just in front of Reds. He'll try and get the overrun around the outside of him, and he will. He'll be through Reds. And he's through. Kenke Dot is into the pit lane. If we can try and ride on board with that, that'll be great. As I can't ride on board with him as he came into the pit lane there. So we'll have to focus on... Well, I don't know. Who do we focus on? Try and get Kenke Dot in the pit lane, can we? Shall we? I can't get him. He's coming out of the pit lane now. Still trying to get him. And I still can't get him. Which is absolutely unbelievable. Splash there in P5. There's Kenke Dot coming out of the pit lane in P6. Reds in P7. Both for Shadara. Now under pressure. Volschweitzer from Herreser. Herreser to the inside line. Not quite. Just hold on. Volschweitzer 10th. And on the back of both for Shadara. But there is Superboy on a better strategy than these guys ahead. Superboy really excelling actually out on track. Probably one of his better races of the season. That's why Petrolhead not here, of course. And he's trying to thrive out on track. It is Palmer who leads, 9/10 of a second. For Marcello now in second. I think it's been given that Palmer should now push on this final lap to come into the pit lane. And this will inevitably bring Black into the lead of the race unless Marcello stays out, which he doesn't. So they're both into the pit lane from the lead in second. Palmer in, Marcello in. Black now leads once again out on track. And it's going to be quite a comfortable margin. Tice is going to be coming into the pit lane. So will Splash this time around. So these guys will come into the pit lane. Marcello will be out of the pits second behind Palmer. And yeah, Palmer out ahead. Marcello, 69 litres of fuel coming out the pit lane. And again, Marcello not using the correct pit lane exit. Might be something that we've got to tell him about maybe after the race. Black, low leading the way. 14.5 seconds. The gap was about 16 seconds, if I'm not mistaken, in the first pit stop when they came out the pit lane. I think Black has lost time because of Palmer and Marcello. Longer term, I think these guys are now going to gain time, and it's going to be the case really of Palmer and Marcello having to make another pit stop. It looks nigh on certain that I think Black's going to win. Don't get me wrong. I think Black will win, but Palmer second, Marcello third. Looking further down the field, everything has just spread itself out quite easily, except from this battle. Volschweitzer and both for Shadara. Volschweitzer again. Out wide, both for Shadara goes on the inner line. Coming in through the hairpin, a little bit of contact between them both. These two had a really good battle, of course, last week as well. And Volschweitzer has a little bit of a slide out of the corner. Both for Shadara is 1,000 ahead. They make more contact running down the straight. Both for Shadara leaning on Volschweitzer again. Keeps your line, I think he's won him, but Volschweitzer is through down the inside line. Force of Bull out wide. Bull will now try and switch it back. And that's Volschweitzer out wide, and that's the position. Both for Shadara through, and he's up into 10th. Volschweitzer run out wide. I think that was good from Bull to just hang on in there and pick out a position where he was going to put Volschweitzer under a lot of pressure. But look at that man there. Superboy is now under pressure, and I think Bull's just had a mistake. Bull's just made a mistake out on track, and now Bull for Shadara and Superboy down the straight. Look at Bull's slipstream. Got to time this to perfection. You can hear that McLaren just roaring on ahead. The Lexus is looking quite vulnerable. Running down. A little bit of a tap up there. The backside is now. Superboy will try and go to the inside line. Bull down the outside line. Superboy sticks his ear in and will get both positions. I think contact made between them both. Volschweitzer probably not going to be happy with Bull, Bull, I should say. But Superboy's through and he's up into 10th. And that's what you get. If you fight too hard, you give up two positions like that. And Superboy, of course, on a different strategy. He's through and he's up into 10th and hasn't got any traffic to worry about at all. Black, though, leading the way, 14 seconds out on track. From Palmer in second, 25 minutes to go. I think Black, what he's trying to do is commit to a two-stop strategy, if I'm not mistaken, out on track. And I'm reached 13.9 seconds. It's pretty much the width of the straight as they run down in towards turn 1. I'm looking really good so far out on track. And just looking at see if there's any more responses coming through. Marcello third, King is up fourth, Tice fifth, Splash sixth, Reds in seventh. Hair Razor there in, Doug in 8th, Hair Razor 9th, Superboy in 10th. It's going to be fascinating to see how this all unfolds. Bowl and Volschweitzer once again look like they're going to race into the pit lane, I think. No, Volschweitzer continues on for another lap. Bowl for Shadara into the pit lane, nearly into the pit wall. Volschweitzer will try and go for the out lap now, try and undercut him. Hair Razor late on the brake, Superboy takes the wide out line, coming through turn 1. And looking like a really good race so far out on track. I will be back though. I'm going to take a slight rest from commentary as my voice is going. And I'll be back in probably about a minute or two's time. Trying to find the button to switch my mic on, as there is Superboy. Trying to go around the outside of Hair Razor. Through the final corner, Hair Razor hangs off the camber of the corner. Superboy trying to go around the outside. Not quite, but Superboy's going to have the pace down the straight. And I think Hair Razor might decide to come into pace. He's not this time around. And this is Superboy's opportunity for 9th to try and get the move done. And Superboy's on a really good strategy later on in the race. He's going to be one of the quicker guys out on track as well. Volschweitzer is in as well, so we'll focus on where Bo is. Superboy down the inside and towards turn 1, doesn't commit the move, and Hair Razor runs out wide, and that is why he didn't commit the move, because that was a fantastic move down the inside line. Superboy through, they were a little bit unsure. No, you come through, sir. No, you come through. With Superboy through, and he's up into 9th, Hair Razor 10th. Bo for Shadara is out ahead of Volschweitzer quite easily in the end, in fact, so Volschweitzer now back to P12. Bowl into P11. Tap out the pit lane as well. 81 litres of fuel. He now sets about a mission to try and catch the guys ahead of him. But Black leading the way. 22 minutes to go. Palmer there in second, Marcello in third. And running down the straight. Palmer looking quicker than Marcello. Marcello actually, it looks to me as if Marcello might be just saving up a little bit of fuel for this final pit stop. Now, looking down the straight, because Palmer is pulling away by about 0.2 of a second down the straight. It might not be enough, but Marcello, I think, might be saving up a little bit of fuel. He might be running a slightly higher fuel mode than Palmer possibly out on track. King goes on 4th, getting hunted down by Tice. Splash in 6th, Reds in 7th. Reds on a good strategy as well. Doug in 8th, Superboy 9th, Hair Razor 10th, and he's going to make his way now into the pit lane. See this pit stop as we run on board with him into the pit lane. And look at the tyres, look at how worn that front left is. Takes a majority of the impact actually out on track, the front left. But Shadara will be ahead of him, I think, coming out the pit lane, I would imagine. Hair Razor. It's going to be quite close, I think, though, between these guys. So let's have a look when they come out the pit lane. Or when Hair Razor, I should say, comes out the pit lane. Yeah, he's going to be well behind these guys. He might even be behind Tap. And is he going to the end of the race? Yeah, he will go to the end of the race. That was Volschweitzer just going through, and Hair Razor is ahead of Tap into 12th position. Black has lost quite a chunk of time actually out on track. 12.9 seconds It was 13.9. I wonder if Black has made a mistake slightly out on track and we haven't caught it. I think Black has made a slight mistake. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's made a little bit of a mistake out on track. And now Palmer, second, Marcello third, but really, it's going to be a splash and dash, I think, for Black towards the end of this race. He might be committing possibly to a two-stop, as I say, go high on the field, but very, very weak on the tyres towards the end of the race. Palmer, on the other hand, doesn't have to worry about that because he can still try and hammer around while Black is slowing down. So Palmer is slowly but surely reaching this back into contention somehow. But I would imagine if it was to get the jump, I would pit in maybe same lap time as Black, or on the same lap I should say as Black, as that's purple in the middle sector by 700ths of a second. And he's pulling away from Marcello. Look at the speed now, Palmer. He's pulling away from Marcello. Looking further down the field. Is there anything going on? Nope, there's nothing going on, so we'll right back on board with that. Again, 12.3 seconds now the gap. 12.1, 11.9. And Palmer just looks quicker through that middle sector. Black is in. Black into the pit lane from the lead of the race. Decisive move into the pit lane. Palmer will not respond. He will continue on. Marcello also will continue on, and these guys will be in the lead of the race. So Black then is into the pit lane. He will come out in a very clear third position. But now, what has it done to Palmer and Marcello's advantage? I think it's gained the advantage, actually, as he comes out the pit lane. It has, because Marcello's down in towards turn one. Black coming out the pit lane, it's 6.5 seconds. So Palmer and Marcello work together within that second stint to pull out a gap of about 5 seconds over Black. Might not be as decisive enough, but it's more decisive, I think, for them to try and get back into this. It's going to be fascinating to see how this race goes on, but Palmer leading away from Marcello in second, just trying to flick back through the field. Nothing really going on. Tice trying to catch K&K Dot for fourth. Porsche against the Dutchman. In the Mercedes, of course. And we'll just run on board with this battle for now. As Tice, 2.1 seconds, just losing time now through the middle sector. It seems to me as if it's the first and the third sector. That could be quite big for, that could be quite big, I should say, for Tice to try and get in to that advantage on K&K Dot. Palmer in the way though, 1.7 seconds. Marcello 1.7 behind. Black 6.7 behind. And so far it is enough. Palmer currently leading the race, but he will have to pit in once again. And that 17 minutes of the race is going to be fascinating out on track. Right back on board because Tice is getting closer now. Nearly within slipstream length of K&K Dot in front of him. Down and towards turn one once again. 16.5 minutes to go. And while you're right on board with that battle, I will be back once again in just a couple of minutes. Ty's still trying to hunt down KK Dot. Around the same gap as what I left you with last time around. 1.4 seconds. Still the gap, but Ty's beginning to reel him in. That Mercedes is going to be quicker than the Porsche ahead. So the more time like Ty's gains, the more you'll feel inferior maybe to KK Dot. KK Dot has got probably a lap less fuel than Ty's in the car. That is a pit stop being made by Reds coming into the pit lane for the final time. 15 minutes left. There'll be ample time, I think, for him to get to the end. Doug also in 10 litres of fuel. I am just going to send one of the links, the link out to the stream, because I've just seen that somebody wants to watch on Discord, which is not too bad at all. As Red out of the pit lane, 1.7 seconds, but he's completely and utterly messed up turn 1. Goodness me. He's run miles out wide through turn 1, and Doug wasn't that bad either coming through turn 1. But Reds in 7th, Doug in 8th, Superboy back out of the pit lane in there in 9th, Volschweizer 10th, Hellraiser 11th, Tap in 12th, but there's Bo right on the back of him. And Bo, I think, has just been into the pit lane, is now on the back of Tap, running down in towards turn 1, and Tap has been tapped on the side, but Bo had the car ahead. He gets the move done. They're into the lead of the race. There's Palmer into the pits. Marcello into the pits. Now brings back Black into the lead of the race. With 14 minutes to go here, the fuel now runs high. It's going to be about 10 seconds, the gap, I think, as they come out the pit lane for the final time around. It's Black who was going to be winning this one, I think, is now Palmer out of the pit lane. And the gap is pretty much 10 seconds, so nigh on what I said. It's James Head predictions actually gone right for once that I normally commentate on. But Black in the way, 10.4 seconds. Palmer on a better strategy. And is Black going to make it to the end of the race? He's got about 50 litres of fuel left. Can just put in 57, which makes me wonder if he will, but I'm not sure. I'm not so sure he's going to make it to the end of the race. Keep an eye on that. 10.2 seconds the gap. Palmer on better fuel, better tyres. Now going to hunt him down. 10.2 seconds the gap. Marcello there in 3rd. KK Dot in 4th. These guys still yet to pit lane, come into the pit lane for the 2nd time. Or for the 3rd time, I should say, out on track for these guys. KK Dot and Tice, 4th and 5th. Splash and 6th has been a little bit disappointing, to be honest, now in the second half. As actually KK Dot, Tice and Splash, to say, sorry, have been into the pit lane. I've just realised that. The left-hand side. Reds is in. Reds has been in. Doug there in 8th. Superboy running wide there in 9th. Volschweizer 10th. Hellraiser 11th. Bo in 12th. It's now disposed of Tap there in 13th position. Look at the gap, though. Palmer, 9.9 seconds out on track between Black and Palmer. And this race might not be said and done just yet. 12.5 minutes ago, just under. Black leading the way, Palmer there in 2nd, Marcello there in 3rd. Down through turn 1 once again, through Daichi corner as they call it. And 9.8 seconds now the gap, running down through Daichi corner. And Black is going to try and up the pace, possibly out in front, but that man there is going to try and hunt him down. Look at the gap, 9.6 seconds, 9.5 seconds. Gap coming down. Palmer feeling with a lot more confidence in this last half of the race. There's been a move further down the field, has there? There hasn't. Trying to see, might have been a little bit of a glitch maybe with Splash coming across the start-finish line. Just glitched the timing boards coming across the line. KK Dot there in 4th. It's a second the gap, but look at that, 4:10 penalty. KK Dot is going to have to serve up, and that could mean Tice will be back into 4th position before the end of this race. It's going to be a fascinating watch to the end of this race. 1.3 seconds the gap. I think KK Dot's going to have enough to serve up the penalty. And he doesn't this time around. He's going to continue on with that penalty, 4/10. Black though, 9.5 seconds, 9.4. Palmer closing again. Marcello 3rd. KK Dot 4th. Really hope you've enjoyed all of this racing as well. Out on track as now KK Dot did serve up that penalty. And is under pressure. He might have made a mistake actually, sorry. KK Dot is now Tice is on the back of him. Coming through the final couple of corners. The 32nd time this will be out on track. Running down the straight, Tice. 0.8 of a second away from K&K Dot. We can see riding on board with him, running down the straight. The flash past our camera position. Car 71 of Tice in the Mercedes. K&K Dot in car 4, in 4th. And the Spaniard trying to hang on from Tice. K&K Dot's had a really good race. He's a reserve, remember, coming into this season. And he is excelling really greatly, I think, out on track. And it's really good to see. And he might have just picked up a penalty there by cutting the corner slightly. But no penalty given anyways. 0.3 of a second he's still got to serve up. K&K Dot 4th. Tyson 5th. And actually K&K Dot's beginning to pull away now from Tice slightly. Further down the field, we haven't got that much going on. Gap, lead, 8.8 seconds. Maybe even less than that as he comes through Panasonic corner. Palmer. And it's now 8.7. And it will be 8.6 eventually. Yep, 8.6 now, the gap. It's a flash past camera position once again. Palmer leaving. Black in behind and running down in towards turn 1. Back 8.6 seconds. Palmer second. I think I said there. Palmer leaving Marcello in his dust, I should say, rather than Black leaving Palmer in his dust. As he sets a green first sector. Really trying to do just as out on track. Side by side there with Tyson. K&K Dot for 4th. Here is Tice on the inside line. K&K Dot on the outside line. The Spaniard will break later. Tice is overcommitted slightly into the corner. And K&K Dot tries to switch back on the inside line. Now through turn 2. Down in towards Coca-Cola corner at turn 3. Can he try and get the move done around the outside? We've seen this once before. But Tice hangs on for P4. K&K Dot will try and get the switch back through in towards the hairpin. At turn 5 through 100R. Oh, goodness me. It's really close. And K&K Dot is trying to fend. Tice is trying to fend off the pursuer, but K&K Dot through down the inside line, running stuff through the hairpin. He goes and he's through and he's up the P4, but look at the Mercedes, he's going to try and come back at him. Really good battle for 4th happening with 8 minutes to go in this race left. And Tice on the back of K&K Dot. But K&K Dot got that move done. Up into P4 he goes. And Tice there in P5. Just looks to me through the corner, through this final sector, K&K Dot looks quicker than Tice behind him. At this moment in time though, Tice on the straight will be quicker than K&K Dot because the Porsche is obviously slower in the straight line than the Mercedes in behind. And we take on board with the Mercedes running down. You can see the RPM to the right hand side, the throttle input and the mile an hour to the left hand side, already in excess of 140, 150. Now 160, you can already pretty much see where this is going to go. K&K Dot feels the need to defend though to the inside line. Tice has now got out of the slipstream. He should have really tried to run with the slipstream and try and go around the outside. He'll try switching it back through turn 1. But look, switchback is not that potent through coming through turn 1. And it is K&K Dot through, still in 4th position. Tice there in 5th. Gap for the lead is 7 seconds. Palmer is eating into the lead here. And Black might be fuel saving. Palmer is not at 6.6 seconds. And you know what? Palmer might just do this, you know. 6.6 seconds is the gap. It's still a long, long way to the flag just yet. Must have another 4 laps to go at least. So that gap, if Black is going to try and maintain that to the line, he could be, as I say, running low on fuel, possibly. Palmer isn't. Palmer has got much better fuel. He's going to commit it to the end. And he will still close him down. Marcello there in 3rd. K&K Dot still hanging on in 4th. Oh, Tice on the back of K&K Dot. Just trying to clear my throat there. It's now Tice on the back of him once again. Down in towards turn 1 once again. Here comes Tice. K&K Dot will defend to the inside line, but I think Tice, K&K Dot's seen what's coming. It's Tice sets a new personal best lap of the race. Oh, gives him a little bit of contact there. Kenke Dot trying to go around the outside. He doesn't like that one at all. Kenke Dot around the outside line. The traction will be there on the outside. A little bit of a slide on from Tice, but it's still side by side as we come now down towards turn 3. They fly past our camera position once again. Spaniard, I think, is just going to come out on top for this, and yeah, Kenke Dot through. And he's up into 4th. Tice is not giving this one up without a fight. Trying to go now, switching it back through 100R, through turn 5 and 6. He now comes up toward the hairpin at turn 6. And then, sorry, through turn 7 that is. I'm miscounting my corners, honestly. Kenke Dot still under pressure. This has really promoted some really good racing out on track. Looking further down the field, there's not really much going on. Everyone is spaced out. There is a pit stop, though, happening into the pit lane. And that... Oh, as Doug and Raids have a fight now down in towards the hairpin. Doug on the inside line for 7th. Gets the move done. So Doug through up to 7th. Raids trying to go around the outside there in 8th. That pit stop being made is Tap, who has been lapped. Tap is out of the pits, and he's out with Black just ahead of him. Black is just ahead, 5.5 seconds. I think Black is going to hang on. Now, it's an unpromising position, but now, 5.2, it's still closing down that gap. Kenke Dot Tice once again. And Tice has got to try and get this move done this time around. He's a lot closer this time around compared to Kenke Dot. And now, has to switch it to the outside line this time. Kenke Dot on the outside, on the inside line. I think Tice has got this one done this time around, though. Or has he? Because Kenke Dot is so late on the brakes. He commits the move again. It's a really good battle between these two. And Kenke Dot hangs on again for 4th. Tice cannot make the move on him. It's as simple as that. Kenke Dot 4th. Then P5. Tice right on the back of him, though. Really, really good racing here. Of course, if you do want to join us here for the SRS GT3 series, might not be this season, but certainly next season, as we'll try and confirm our plans going forward as well, we will try and give you the best action out on track. Hopefully, a GT3 League will be run. No, Tice, certainly one of the main protagonists through. And also within the week, I forgot to say that I've been appointed as one of the league owners as well, so I'm going to be helping out right in behind the scenes, getting down to the nitty-gritty. Hopefully there's going to be plans going ahead into 2021. I'm sure I'm going to be working on them over the Christmas period, as we will be taking a break, by the way. The dates are going to change slightly. We did have a discussion about this before the race, and let me tell you that the dates will change. We'll still have next week's race as normal for the Red Bull Ring in the wet. And then the week after, the 27th, is going to be a break week for Christmas and for New Year. And then we're back the week after, I think on the 3rd of January, if I'm not mistaken, for what will be round 7 of the championship. So essentially, just think of it this way, it's been taken back a race, or a week I should say. Kenke Dot tries to go around the outside of Tice, but Tice finally gets the move done. Hung him out to dry there, and Tice is through and he's up into P4. Kenke Dot P5. Really good racing out on track between them both. I was waffling on too much there, I think. But Tice is through and he's up into P4. And Kenke Dot for P5, out on track. And yeah, the trophy will be, of course, awarded right at the end of the season. That's Sharon, of course, coming in the comment section to see. Mount Fuji in the background. Still Black, 5.2 seconds. He's done enough. I think this is going to be quite possibly the final lap of the race now. As they're now coming around the final corner, we'll see it coming across the line whether Black is going to be close enough. You can see he is saving up fuel as much as possible. Yeah, this will be the final lap of the race. Looking at his lap times, yeah, 1 minute 30, not going to be enough. So Black is on to the final lap of the race. And he already feels like he's doing a celebration, but he's not. He's gonna have to sit on in there. Is that a warning sign to Palmer maybe? Because Palmer is still closing in. 5.1 seconds the gap. Not gonna be enough obviously to try and close him in. But Black might just run out of fuel on this final lap of the race. I don't think he's going to though. But it is going to be Palmer second, Marcello third it seems. Kenke Dot though and Tice still fighting for 4th and 5th. As Kenke Dot actually has got back through on Tice, which we've totally missed. Out on track, and now Tice to the inside line has got to go for it this time around. This is the final lap, so it counts. Kenke Dot on the outside line. They're both from wide and they're nearly off the track. Kenke Dot, I think, might just come out on top of this one. Tice is now going to have the camber of the corner running through turn 2. And Kenke Dot though, that Porsche's just quick enough. Yes, it is. Kenke Dot hangs on for P4. It's been a stoic defence from the Spaniard. Out on track. The leaders, by the way, coming through the final sector as Tice tries to go around the outside of 100. Oh, this is impossible to try and pull off the move, and he doesn't. Kenke Dot now switching it down the inside line. There's going to be inevitable contact. Tice makes contact with with Kenke Dot through the final corner, though. Here comes Black. Black through the final corner. Will try and go on board with that battle once again. Tice still on the back of Kenke Dot, running into the Dunlop curve. No, hangs on again. Tice is going to give him one last bite of the cherry. Black across the line to win, though, in Fuji. Palmer is going to be in second. Marcello is going to be in third. His first podium, I think, of the season. Tice down the inside line through 13. Can he get the move done? I think he has. I think he's just snatched it from the grasp of defeat. But look at Kenke Dot's fuel. Kenke Dot's fuel. He might not make it to the line. Tice is going to finish in fourth. If Kenke's fuel does not run out, he might have another bite of him. Running down pretty much the pit lane. Down to the line. Tice hangs on for fourth. Great racing there between them both. Tice fourth. Kenke Dot fifth. Splash is going to come across the line in sixth. Just caught up by the strategy really in the end. Doug is through the final corner. He's just about going to make it to the line as well in seventh. Good race from Doug as well. Really had a good battle earlier on. And that is STM Reds finishing in 8th as well. And another one that's done very well out on track. Superboy going to be in 9th. Probably, arguably, I think his best race of the season. He's had nobody around him, which is probably why. But Superboy across the line to finish in 9th. Volschweitzer will finish in 10th. Perez 11th. That, by the way, has already came across the line in 13th. So Volschweitzer will be across the line to finish in 10th. He's run out of fuel. Volschweitzer's run out of fuel. He keeps the car going. Hellraiser across the line in 11th. The Bowl finishes in 12th. And that is the end of the Fuji Speedway Grand Prix. Round 5 of the championship certainly proved to be an entertaining one. And it is Black, once again, who takes the win out on track. Pole position, fastest lap, clean race. What more do you want? And the win, what more do you want out on track? And he takes the Grand Slam once again. And let's get our top 3 in. Palmer will be able to join up on this party, but we will add in the other 2. And I've got to remember, of course, their PSN names, which is not that great. I've got to try and remember everyone's to try and invite into the new party system, of course. So we'll get in Black, and we'll get in Marcello. And let me just... I'm just getting his name up so I can actually put it right. There we are. I've got his name, and we'll get Marcello in as well. And next week, of course, as I say, we go to the Red Bull Ring for round 6 of the championship. And it's going to be a fascinating night worth of action. So, top 3 have now been added in onto this party chat. And hopefully we'll get the interviews done very soon indeed. But if you did enjoy that one, do like, comment, subscribe. Tick that notification bell, of course, if you are new to the channel. And why wouldn't you? Why get racing like that? Volschweitzer was saying he was full fuel saving on the last lap of the race. Very interesting race though, out on track. And we'll decipher, of course, with our front 3 who are going to be coming into the party very soon indeed. We are just waiting for Pole Man to come in. That is the sound of a P3 man who was very happy, I think, out on track. But we'll come on to, of course, Black when he joins the party first. So we're just waiting on him to join. And hopefully I haven't added the wrong TSR T5 Black, because there is only one. And that is that man there who has just joined the party. TSR T5 Black, our winner for round 5 here in Fuji. And Black, that was quite a domination drive once again.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it was a good race. I think I only did 2-stopper. So I did have a good race.
Yeah, you did, and you had that 2-stop as well.
Yeah. I did have an argy-bargy with Marsh in a couple of second lap, but then it was, yeah, maybe just straightforward, I think.
Yeah, I think it was certainly straightforward because you were really under pressure, as I say, from Marcello right at the start of the race, and we'll get Marcello's thoughts on that battle as well. But just from your point of view, I think it was a fantastic battle out on track, and we've had some great racing as well. Was that the battle, to be honest, that brought you the win out on track?
Yeah, I think so. When I did see Marshmallow and Marshmallow. Marsh and Palmer going to pits, I was thinking, yeah, let's stay out and see what the gap is gonna be, because I want to do a two-stopper, and yeah, it's paid out pretty well.
It has paid out pretty well, and of course Fuji now long behind us as we go next week, of course, for round 6 of the championship. To, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's not the Red Bull Ring. It's not the Red Bull Ring. It's Bathurst next week. Goodness me, I've been saying that all long, all wrong, all night, and it's Bathurst next week. So how do you think you're going to get on around the most legendary track for GT3 racing?
Last season, me and Palmer had a great race on Mont Panorama. Maybe I should pick the vet for that race. I don't know.
And it's going to be more cornering based as well, so it's going to decipher what's going to be the quickest car, the Mercedes or the Viper as well, and I'm sure that's going to be fantastic to watch next week. We'll move on to Palmer then, who finished in P2. And Palmer, your race really was one of, well, just getting left behind at the start, I think.
I'm quite disappointed, to be honest, because I lost so much time at the start that, you know, I think that probably led to me not winning the race, because, you know, that last stint, I don't know what's going on with T5. I didn't know if it was because of the tyres or because of maybe fuel saving, but, you know, I just, you know, I was being quite consistent and, you know, getting that gap down. But yeah, I'm quite annoyed with, especially with the fact that Viper got a penalty and then proceeded to not serve it, even though it's completely, even though it's cleared or completely clear in the announcement log, so or not log, chat. So you know that I'm extremely annoyed about that. But you know, I mean, I think I definitely did have to pace. Of course, it didn't help that I turned into Valtteri Bottas on the first lap and didn't. You know, didn't get used to the cold tyres, but you know, of course, which, you know, going to Bathurst was next week. You know, I'm quite excited, especially after the really good battle that I had with T5. But you know, I do feel like this one got away from me, especially with that first stint. But ever since then, like ever since that stint, of course, I worked together with Marcello, and you know, of course, we managed to get that gap down a little bit. But of course, the two-stop, which of course didn't work last weekend. Last weekend, but you know, it did work this weekend. And in the end, of course, there was nothing that that could be done. You know, of course, once again, T5 with that Viper was just too quick for us. You know, and you know, I mean, I'm always up for a battle. You know, but when it's a battle with someone who doesn't know the rules and doesn't serve penalty, you know, it does get very frustrating. And you know, of course, you know, I wanted to keep it clean, but also, you know, of course, I was very annoyed. But you know, of course, Bathurst. You know, I used to hate Bathurst, but I do quite enjoy it, especially after last season. So hopefully, I can get the win next time around.
Yeah, I certainly think the standard does need to be set in terms of following the rules, I think, out on track. And certainly with Viper's times, he was having a good race until that point. I'm not sure what happened to him later on, but then he rage quit 15 minutes into the race, and I said at the time that it's not the best behaviour possible for a driver. I'd like to see everyone finish the race if they can, but yeah, we're going to have to do something about that, I think. Obviously, with Bathurst having that battle last season, I should say, with Black, are you hoping for a repeat?
Hopefully, yes, because it was very, very entertaining, and it made of course the 90 minutes fly by. But with that straight line speed of the Viper, you know, of course I lost out to T5 last season because of the straight line speed down that Commonwealth straight. You know, when of course T5 was in the Corvette, and you know, of course the Viper is quick in the straight line. So hopefully Mercedes is good enough going down the what's it called, the mountain, and hopefully up the mountain as well, because from what I've seen, and of course what I've experienced with the Viper's not very stable, especially under braking. So hopefully I can build up enough of a gap there to be able to defend going into going down the Commonwealth straight into the chase. You know, of course, 90-minute race. Of course, the last 90-minute race didn't go to plan, but you know, hopefully it comes out better, and you know, hopefully I have a good battle.
Yeah, it's going to be a fantastic night's worth of racing, I think, and of course it is an hour and a half race, the second of the 3, and our final race, of course, before the Christmas break, which I announced earlier on within the race that we are going to be having a Christmas break. On the 27th of December, that race that's normally due to be run, that'll be pushed back a week. So just think of it being pushed back a week. It's Christmas. We want people to spend time with their families and their friends, especially considering 2020 has been an absolute shit show of a year. Then, yeah, we'll get on with that. But we've got one more man to interview, and that is Formula Marcello. Ciao!
Ciao a tutti!
How was your race out there?
How was my race? Well, I mean, I really don't know how to put it, because obviously the result, like, I'm happy about it. Like, P3 is probably as best as it could have got for me. Obviously I started P3 and I managed to overtake Ethan at the start, and you know, at least managed to get in the lead for a few seconds. But yeah, then, you know, it wasn't like a perfect race for me, because I think I've made a few silly mistakes here and there, like getting a 1-second penalty in the first stint whilst I was chasing down T5. So and obviously, you know, we had to try something different with the strategy as well. So you know, we stopped once more than T5, and you know, I think if I would have been on the same strategy, no way I could have won this race. You know, I went into this race with the target of winning, because at the end of the day, that's what we aim for. And you know, I was really confident of my pace after practice, and qualifying obviously was really decent for me, I think. And then in the race, you know, I think I was fast, but not fast and not consistent enough to win the race. And then, you know, obviously Ethan, he lost a little bit of time at the start, and he did a great job to come back and to, you know, finish ahead of me. Yeah, you know, the last thing, I gave it everything. I gave it absolutely everything, but it just wasn't enough, unfortunately.
I'm glad to say, though, I believe it is your first podium of the season, though, so that must fill you up and the team with a lot of confidence going forward.
You're wrong. That's not my first podium.
The second podium.
Is it not?
That's my second podium. I got a podium in Monza at my first race, and
oh yeah,
in the Viper.
Oh yeah, I'm looking through and I'm seeing a different name to what you've got as your PSN, so no wonder I got confused at that. Goodness me. Yeah, so your second podium, I should say, of the season. Yeah, that must fill you up and the team with a lot of confidence.
Yeah, of course it gives me a little bit of confidence, especially after the last race in Brazil, which was really tough for me, because you know, that race, my pace wasn't as good as my teammates and the leaders, and obviously I spun on the third lap, and you know, it could have been overall a better race for me. And it was kind of I wouldn't say reality check, but it kind of got me back to earth a little bit after my podium in Monza. You know, I think, and obviously, you know, this weekend I kind of got this race I was more confident with the Mercedes, of course, rather than the Viper. So yeah, it gives me confidence, but you know, I think this race was, yeah, it definitely gives me confidence. It was probably my best race of the season because obviously if you look at the results, theoretically Monza was a better race for me because I finished second, but the gap between me and T5 who won the race was enormous, whilst you know today I managed to stay a little bit closer. Even though we were on a slightly more aggressive strategy, I still managed to, you know, kind of gain a little bit on in and finish. And yeah, I mean, it gives me confidence. Yeah.
That was a very long answer.
Yeah.
Well, and final question.
Cut it out.
Yeah, final question for you. Moving into Bathurst next week, how do you think you're going to get on around there?
Sorry for the long answer, first of all. But anyway. Get ready for another very long answer. No, I'm joking. I don't really know what to expect. Honestly, you know, going into that race knowing that I'm going to be driving the Mercedes, that certainly, you know, I feel more confident with the Mercedes rather than the Viper. So, and that's also a reason why I made the switch. But yeah, you know, it's a great track. You know, it's one of my favorite tracks on Gran Turismo, and it's also, I really like these tracks where it's really on the edge. You know, you're really close to the walls. You're pushing every lap. You risk to it's 1 millimeter between winning your race and getting a good result. So I kind of like these tracks. That's why I like Monaco so much, for example. So, you know, it's not going to be easy. It's a very technical track. I think we're really going to see the real skills of the very good drivers that we have in this league. And but you know, I hope to have a solid race. It's not going to be easy mentally to go in that race because I'm also going to be taking part into a 24-hour event the day before. So hopefully it's going to be a good race, but we'll see. I don't know what to expect.
Yeah, it's going to be a fantastic race, I'm sure, and of course everyone can tune in for that next week. Same time, same place. We will be starting a little bit early, I think, with qualifying at about 7:15 UK time, and then we'll probably get underway for a 5 to 7 start in terms of qualifying, or just a 7 o'clock start as per usual for the race. Remember, it's an hour and a half, so it's going to be more telling on the drivers and more telling on me as a commentator, so I'm going to have to be prepared for the long haul next week. But that ends us off here for round 5 of the SRS GT3 series. We really hope you've enjoyed it. Please stay safe in this crazy, crazy world that we all live in. And for myself, James Head, and from the top 3 here tonight, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, next week in Bathurst, goodbye.
Bye-bye.